Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man. And today I'm going to be talking to you about all the uses of lab-made crystals. And there's a few uses for lab-made crystals. What's a lab-made crystal? It's a crystal made in a lab. Yay! It has nothing to do with Mother Nature. Science, biology, etc. can copy crystals on how they form in the ground, such as lab-made diamonds. I've been seeing lots of lab-made garnet. They are making lab-made tigerite for who knows what. They're making lab-made crystals that went extinct in the past are now becoming prevalent again in the future. There's so many like star gemstones that are lab-made, like perfect stars in the ground that are now inexpensively lab-made, but this is going to apply for most of the rules for all lab-made crystals. There are some exceptions, but not too much from what I've seen. What are the benefits of lab-made crystals? Well, this is super interesting. A lab-made crystal is very good for someone who doesn't really participate or engage in spiritual or crystal healing. What do I mean by that? I mean, this video is going to be very interesting because this just put two and two just came together for me recently, and this made perfect sense to me. Because a long time ago, I would sell crystals to people, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I don't really care about the crystal qualities. I don't believe in all that. And yeah, the crystals they can't have any energetic qualities. I just like to buy the crystal because of how good it looks." And I'm like, a long time ago, I didn't know what to say to that, let alone what to think. It took me a few years to like come up with a conclusion. But at that point, I don't buy crystal. I mean, I don't let people buy crystals from me, knowing that they just like them for the beauty of them, because the crystals need cleansing and charging in their active spiritual work. And I'll talk more about that in a second too. But how are lab-made crystals good? It's good for those kind of people who are like, yeah, just essentially those people. I'd highly suggest they align themselves to be on the path to getting closer to God and upgrading their knowledge on gemstones and being able to heal themselves to realize that God made the crystals to help them grow. But how is a lab-made crystal any use? It's good as a use for someone who wants the beauty of a crystal, but not the actual properties. This is really interesting, right? It really is, because, like I said, there's been in the past, people will get a gemstone because they don't think that gems have power and it looks beautiful, and something about the crystal's energy attracted them to that crystal because that person probably needed the energy, but that person won't be using it correctly. And these people are usually attracted to crystals such as malachite, obsidian, black hypersthene, like some of the craziest crystals. And if you don't cleanse and charge them, it's going to be wild. It's going to be nuts. Like, it's just flat out going to be crazy. It's nuts. So, like, for example, and imagine that, guys. Like, my next video, it has to be talking about the importance of cleansing and charging your crystals. Because if you don't, then they're holding trauma. They're holding negative energy that's trying to be released from you. They're holding all this excess energy that's supposed to be transmuted by cleansing and charging it, but you're wearing it the next day. It's kind of like wearing negative energy. It's like when people have trauma in a particular, let's just say you wear a black shirt, right? And you not black, you wear a blue and yellow shirt, but maybe that you got some kind of domestic violence occurred in that blue and yellow shirt, but every time you wear it, memories pop up. It's the same thing. It's because that crystal is saving that memory, saving that data. And whenever you wear the shirt, it's going to constantly replay that. Whenever you wear the crystal's energy is trying to heal you, so it's pulling things out gradually. But if you're not cleansing and charging it, then it's going to be a whole bunch of chaos, a whole bunch of disarray, a whole bunch of drama. And the people who get those kind of crystals, because, I mean, that's why I believe so many people are getting fake moldavite. So I don't tell people when they have fake moldavite anymore. A lot of people I will see, like, they're just like, "Oh, this crystal changed my life," and they'll show me moldavite, and I'm just like, "Oh." And as people, well, some people will say, "Oh, this is an Aries characteristic." I can't hide my face when I feel a certain way about something, so I'll either have to like cover my face or turn my head and be like, "Oh," or look down at my phone and act surprised at my phone because I can't hide my facial expressions. If I see fake moldavite, I'm probably thinking in my head that I'm hiding it, but I'm looking at the fake moldavite like. that's just me. I can't hold back the truth, even with my face. I'm like, ah. And they're like, and the worst question is, it's real, right? And I'm like, ah. I'm like, kinda. The plastic holding the Moldavite is, but the plastic holding the plastic Moldavite, I can't even, like, I'll just fumble on it and I'll be like, oh, I have to find a way around it to not be like, I'll try to change the conversation. I'll be like, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it because I'm going to be telling you everything that you don't want to hear. But I can't lie to people and say that, yeah, Moldavite's real. That plastic's real. If it's a real piece of plastic, or it's even with real Moldavite, for people who have gifted Moldavite to, actually, like, the bigger the Moldavite, it doesn't even look like plastic. It's like almost glass-like, because it is a glass. It's a tektite. And I see people on my TikTok trying to correct me, like, Moldavite's not, and it's hilarious because the people who don't know anything about crystals are always the people that try and correct people wearing every single crystal or wearing a bunch of crystals. It's like, well, meteorite is technically not a crystal. I mean, what would the person say? Meteorite. No, Moldavite's technically not a crystal. It's a meteorite. When it's actually a tektite, so I'm just like, okay, I'll leave it like that. But back to my topic. What are these lab-made crystals for? The same reason. I mean, technically they're fake crystals. There's lab-made selenite. I mean, if you know it's lab-made and you're wearing it just because it's beautiful, okay, it's better than wearing a crystal and trying to fight its energies when it's trying to make you a better person, because that's not fun. Persons who wear malachite, and usually the malachite will break. Oh, if you wear malachite when it's cleansed and charged, that alone's crazy. Malachite's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I've seen people trying to wear malachite as beauty, as jewelry. Those people have the most hectic lives because things are trying to get removed. Things are trying to come up and be resurfaced and be released so that person doesn't have to deal with an aspect about themselves that is causing harm to others and to themselves. So that's trying to be healed so it'll keep popping up. And usually it's the craziest thing in the entire world when a behavior about yourself that makes your reality into hell on earth, let's just say. And people are just like, oh, why is life so bad? It's you. Like, you're the one who's yelling and screaming at everyone, and you're wondering why people fight with you. It's because they're fighting back. They're trying to defend themselves. But when it comes to fake crystals, or I'm not gonna say fake crystals, because if you know they're lab made, then you know they're lab made. Not many lab made crystals. Some of them have each lab made crystal has sometimes a little bit of a replica energy, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. I believe this because Mother Nature takes a very long time. If you know how long those stones stick in the ground, according to science, this is millions of years. Okay, but depends on the region of the world. Some of them are like Numite and Isua and other crystals are like said to be 750 million years old, and the science made it in a couple of days, or however long it takes per particular gemstone. You have to put the two and two together. So the energy of the region goes into the stone. If you're trying to figure out like because some of you wonder like, how am I able to astral travel here so easily? Well, when you get a natural crystal, non-lab made crystal from FloridaStoneman.com and you wear it, if that crystal's from the Congo of Africa, then guess what? You're going to be able to easily astral travel to the Congo of Africa. It should not be a surprise. It's like you just show up automatically. Now lab-made crystals, like I said, they're beautiful. They're effective in for someone who's not ready at all to deal with their shadows, it's great. Imagine, this is malachite and it goes over my heart. My heart is, you get it, but it's close to my heart. So imagine someone wearing malachite, not cleansing and charging it, trying to fight all of its blockages and not believing it exists. You know how complicated that person's life is going to be? If you ever see someone in public wearing malachite and ask them about the malachite, be like, okay, and just ask these three set of questions. Is your life crazy, and do things get crazy all the time? Is your life crazy? Do things randomly go out of control all the time? Do you notice lots of fights with people around you for almost no reason? If they answered yes, every one of those questions, then they're not cleansing and like that malachite's not getting cleansed and charged, and that person probably should get a lab-made crystal. They should get a crystal that's not going to provide healing energies, because when that healing pops up, it needs to be cleaned and released, and it needs to benefit that person by them actually working with the crystal versus fighting it. A lot of you, not you guys watching my video, but a lot of people in this world will see things that they're trying to, things will pop up in life that you need to change about yourself, but people will fight it anyway. Imagine with a crystal that emphasizes that. Imagine that. So I do believe lab-made crystals, and you won't, I'm going to apologize ahead of time, guys. You're not going to get any lab-made crystals from me. It's just not happening. Because I've paid a lot of, just for a small amount of crystals, and it could be, for example, a diamond, and you're wondering, okay, how's a real diamond cost this much and a fake diamond cost this much? It's like, okay, they're both diamond, right? But one costs a lot more, one's from the ground. So you're going to go to the person who has a lab-made diamond and tell yourself it's the same thing. It's not. That's the exact example. That's actually one of the best examples of this video. You paid less for something that can be made in a lab, but doesn't have the same energy to it. You meditate with it, it doesn't do anything for you because it's lab made. It's not Mother Nature made. It's not made in the ground. There's no concentration of energies. There's no geological region going into in the history of that region. For example, some of the Native American quartzes, they hold the energy of the Native Americans worshiping their ancestors and their spirits and their guides and their angels and just different pathways of their cultures will seep into the ground because, keep in mind, you walk over the ground, so the energy goes into the gemstone. So lab-made crystals don't have that. It takes a long time for certain energies to impact a crystal. And lab-made crystals, I haven't found an exception. Opalite, it depends. If it's more of a talisman, and how can a crystal have how can a lab-made crystal have any kind of benefit? Well, let's just say you have a fake crystal or a fake 7 chakra crystal bracelet or whatever, because I see that all the time. The most that's doing for the person, that's not doing any kind of healing. It lets you know, it brings an awareness that crystal's out there. It's not, that one's not the real one, but it's kind of like an awareness. It's like, hey, this is out here somewhere on floridastoneman.com, which I'll have more crystals on my website coming up, but that's it. It's really simple. Lab-made crystals are made in a lab. It shouldn't surprise you when they have less qualities or no qualities at all. And I really wish that wasn't the case, because some crystals, like certain star gemstones, like there's some extremely rare black star, I forget what it was called, but there's no more of it, and someone asked me to get some for them, and I'm like, well, there's no more. But there's the lab-made, and I don't get lab-made crystals. I don't use crystals that are not made by Mother Nature, okay? But those crystals are a very good thing for people who don't care about crystals or don't care about spirituality, because that person's not having a bunch of energies trying to work against them to make them a better person by fire, like malachite, obsidian. Now, what if it's a lesser crystal? So, a lab-made tiger eye. It's just, at that point, those crystals can be harmful for people because those people expect to get the healing energy out of a gemstone, and there's no healing energy in that gemstone. That gemstone is just looks. And if they're relying on the gemstone, because number one, you ask God for help. Number two, you wear your crystals as protection, but if you're wearing a protection crystal that's not protecting you, imagine a year goes by, you're wearing a crystal that's actually fake. You've been spiritually attacked 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, etc. And you thought that crystal was protecting you from those attacks because you were wearing it, but it turns out to be not that crystal. That's why I don't send other people to other websites, etc. Because people, you know what people will do? I'm going to tell you guys this right now. And this is why I recommend my website, floridastoneman.com. It's because people, and I've seen this in actual stores, like you'll walk into the store, they'll take about 70% of crystals that are real. They'll take about 30% of crystals that are kind of either fake, lab-made, mixed, one crystal pretending to be the other, etc. If you don't believe that, take a crystal testing kit into any local crystal shop near you. And you're going to surprise yourself. In not the best way. I mean, it's not going to be a surprise because I told you, but if you have to learn yourself, then you'll learn yourself. Now, certain lab-made crystals, they're going, and you better believe, just because it says lab-made does not mean it's going to be a cheap-looking crystal. So I've seen lab-made Larimar. Larimar is a more high-end gemstone, especially the good Larimar. like up here. Now, the thing with Larimar is you'll see it for $20 on Instagram. Oops. I mean, I wasn't supposed to say that where it comes from. I'm not supposed to say details, but certain shops will be like, oh, $20 Larimar, free shipping, and it's basically, it costs as much to ship it, so they're basically sending you free gemstones. Does that make sense to you? No, it's someone who knows how to lab make crystals on a mass spectrum, so they just keep making a crystal over and over and over, and everyone's buying this $20 bracelet of Larimar of the highest quality. That's not actually Larimar. It's a Larimar lookalike. At least, I mean, the thing with the mines in Brazil, and in Brazil, and like by the mining regions, because I have family by the mines in Brazil who send me stuff. They send me pictures all the time. If there's a fake or a lab-made gemstone, the person who's selling you the crystal or the strand of jewelry, which I used to make you guys as jewelry, they'll tell you if a crystal's fake or real ahead of time. They'll tell you that so you know. The cheap crystals and the fake crystals are lower in cost, but they're beautiful. But they're not going to heal you spiritually. This is a spiritual channel. Disclaimer. But the ones that are on the actual table that are higher end, those gemstones will probably get bought less, but they'll be bought all at once and more because those kind of gemstones are real and they're actually doing healing benefits. The lab-made ones might sell quicker and faster, but they're not healing anyone. You have to know the difference between lab-made and non-lab-made gemstones. A giant indicator is if you get something extremely cheap and it doesn't make sense. And I've actually done a TikTok live where I took lab-made gemstones because on eBay is amazing for selling lab-made gemstones. Like, they have the world's most convincing lab-made gemstones ever. Some of them pass certain crystal tests, like saltwater tests, etc., etc. They have some amazing lab-made gemstones, which I threw them out after keeping them for a while just to show and tell people. But I remember on TikTok lives, I'd hold up 2 separate strands of selenite, 2 separate strands of a green tourmaline, and people couldn't tell the difference. Certain people could, who were very energetically gifted. They're like, I don't know, that one looks more like this, but this one looks more like that, and I just my feeling's telling me this. And the people who would use their energy to guess would actually find out that the lab-made gemstone doesn't. It feels hollow. It feels empty. It's like a log with nothing in it, versus the actual crystal is like a tree full of life. Another great example. I hope this video made sense to you guys. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!